Rodgers to the Steelers talk. Big Deep News. My God, are we going to get some real news here soon? I swear it wasn't this dead last time in February, or last year in February with the Steelers news cycle. I could be wrong. But before we talk Aaron Rodgers, I know. I'm sorry. But it needs to be done. We need to talk about Aaron Rodgers. A Steeler player called him out on Instagram. I got to talk about it. So before we get into that, I wanted to give credit to one of you guys in the comments from yesterday's video who I thought brought up a good point on something that the Steelers actually do better than the Eagles, because we know that's been the conversation over the last couple of days, is like, how did the Steelers stack up against the Eagles, the team that just won the Super Bowl, the team that just beat the Chiefs? How close are the Steelers to the Eagles? How far away are they? And we've kind of come to the conclusion that we don't stack up very well across the board to what Philly's doing right now. But there is one thing, and that is kicker. Chris Boswell is better than Jake Elliott. Not a hot take at all. Very accurate take, actually. Now, part of the reason that Boswell is better than Jake Elliott is because the Steelers don't score enough touchdowns, which gives Boswell the opportunity to kick so many, and he takes advantage of that. We don't capitalize enough in the red zone. We don't score enough touchdowns, so Boswell gets to make all these field goals and looks like a hero. Now, to his credit, again, he takes advantage. He drains them all, but still, that's part of the problem because Eagles score a lot of touchdowns. Elliott doesn't get as many opportunities, but Elliott was still terrible all year in the opportunities that he did get. I'm surprised that the Eagles didn't cut him at some point this season. He made games way closer than what they should have been out there with the Eagles with his missed extra points and his missed chip shot field goals. But to his credit in the Super Bowl, everything was center cut. So I guess you got to tip your cap off to Elliott there. He did ball out in the Super Bowl. But still, we know Boswell is hands down the best kicker in the league, which makes him at least a tier or two above Jake Elliott. I couldn't imagine where the Steelers would be without Boswell. Was he the team MVP this year? Who won team MVP? Because I guess, don't they announce that before the season ends? With the season ending how it did, Boswell probably just should have won team MVP. I can't remember if he won it or not. Did TJ get it? Boswell should have got it. Yeah, where would the Steelers be without Boswell making all these kicks from 50-plus? Like, the amount of kicks he made from 50-plus this year was way higher than any other kicker in the league. And most kickers don't make them at that type of clip. Like, he's making them at like 75, 80%, like it's nothing. He made double digits from 50-plus. Where would we be if Boswell wasn't making all those field goals? We finished 10-7. Honestly, though, it would still somehow be 9-8 and 10-7 because it doesn't matter when you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. It all evens out. That's going to be your record no matter what.
Things always even out for me.
When Boswell had a down year a couple years ago in 2022, still somehow managed to go 9-8. So even in Bos's great years, one of Bos's great years like last year, we go 10-7, and one of his down years in 2022, we go 9-8. And it wasn't even like a down year like in 2018 or anything. He was all right. Like, he still made some clutch kicks, but it wasn't the Bos that we've been seeing over the last year or so. Still go 9-8. That's how it works here. But anyway, let's talk Aaron Rodgers. I know no one wants him here. Not the media, not the fans. And now we know Steeler players don't even want the all-time great quarterback here. Well, at least one of them doesn't. So the Steelers are currently favorites amongst potential teams to land Aaron Rodgers. And an NFL News Instagram account made a post connecting the team and the quarterback, and Steelers starting safety DeShon Elliott had his say on the matter. Leave his ass at the retirement home. The comment, I believe, has since been deleted, and rightfully so, because Rodgers actually has a chance to be your teammate. Not only is A-Rod favored to land in Pittsburgh, but we consistently see reports on how the Steelers are going to really scour the quarterback market. I talked about it yesterday with the Diana Rossini report, but I also saw similar things being said from Albert Breer in a Sports Illustrated article recently too. It says, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are shaping up to be interesting quarterback suitors. They have a team that's ready to win now with TJ and Minka in their primes as leaders of a staunch defense. All right, staunch defense, that may be a little bit of a stretch, but he also says a fast improving offensive line group, maybe, and a solid crew of skill players. I don't know about that. They also don't have forever to win with the core that's in place. So this should be the time for Omar Khan to act with some urgency. There are a lot of folks in Pittsburgh ready to move on from Wilson. Justin Fields, on the other hand, is someone they'd love to keep working with, but he may not have done quite enough to be awarded the starting job without qualifications. And options in the draft are, again, sparse. I think the Steelers are going to take a look at a lot of different ideas in the coming weeks, which could lead to someone like Stafford or Rodgers heading to Pittsburgh. Now, me personally, I truly don't mind the comment from DeShon Elliott. I think it portrays some confidence in what we got going on here. Like, we're good. We don't need some guy named Aaron Rodgers to come in here and save us. And Elliott might be looking from the outside, and he's probably seeing some of the drama that Rodgers brings. Maybe he's also heard stuff from Mike Williams and doesn't want that invading the locker room either. But there's also a time and a place for this kind of stuff, and now is not the time, given that we don't have any real quarterbacks currently on our roster to start off this offseason. Like, we're looking for some quarterbacks here, right? We're looking for some QBs, and Aaron Rodgers isn't a name that you sneeze at. But also the fact, too, given how our offense has looked over the last several years, and then in particular the last 5 games of the 2024 season, clearly you can do worse than giving Aaron Rodgers a chance, which we've shown. And like I said, we shouldn't really be above it at all. If you think Fields or Stafford are better options, that's completely fine. You think they're a better fit for the Steelers, you think they're a better fit for not only next year but in the long term, completely fine. I understand that. I'm just saying it's stupid not to look into Aaron Rodgers and see if it could be a fit. Now, for it to be a fit, there are a couple concessions I feel like would need to happen for it to work here in Pittsburgh. And one of them is for Rodgers to stop doing the weekly McAfee hits. And 2, you got to make sure there's buy-in from Rodgers, like that he's all in for the offseason stuff, that he's completely bought into the program. He's not going to be above the team, because we saw how that worked out in New York last offseason. But what's funny is those 2 aspects are exactly what the Jets brought up to Rodgers in their meeting as conditions for him staying in the Big Apple.
When they had conversations with Aaron Rodgers about what the future would look like, if you're going to be part of this team, you're going to attend all of the training camp. You're not going to do Pat McAfee interviews anymore. So they were really trying to change the way.
They said that?
Yeah. They had a conversation with him of, if you were to stay here, here's how we would want it to be. So this, to me, is Aaron Glenn getting control back, and Glenn making sure that.
Who said that to him?
The GM and the head coach.
Now, would Rodgers be more open to doing some of this stuff with a more buttoned-up organization or with a coach that he respects, like Coach T?
I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan.
Maybe. We don't know, but I do feel like the noise with Rodgers will have to die down for Pittsburgh to really consider him, because there are downsides with Rodgers outside of the noise, the off-the-field stuff, like his age and him being less mobile than what he once was, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not like the Steelers don't have other decent options at their disposal either, like a Fields or maybe a Stafford. It's not like we're desperate over here. Now, there's other organizations that may be desperate, like the Raiders or the Titans. They don't have any other real options outside of an Aaron Rodgers to bring the franchise some spark. But again, all I'm saying is don't write off Aaron Rodgers. That's an all-time great quarterback. A lot of people wrote off Tom Brady at the end in New England. A lot of people wrote off Brett Favre at the end after his Jets season, and then he goes on to have arguably one of his best seasons with the Vikings. Tom Brady goes down to Tampa Bay and wins a Super Bowl and throws for the most yards in the league, I believe, in his second year, finishes second in MVP. We know how it ended in Tampa Bay with Brady. That's all I'm saying with Rodgers, man. Like, don't write that off. Don't write it off. Another year removed from Achilles, going to be very motivated, going to be very pissed off, still has all the talent, still has the arm strength, still can throw the ball at anywhere on the field. Don't write it off. It comes with some trade-offs. It comes with some downsides. but we should do our due diligence. That's all I'm saying. If we end up deciding Fields, fine. Completely fine with it. Because there's a strong case for bringing back Fields and trying to build with him. If you want to trade for Stafford, that's that. But I'm not even entertaining other options. You guys know what the big three are for me. It's either Fields, Rodgers, Stafford. Don't want to hear anything else. But you guys have heard that ad nauseum at this point. But that's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Stay chilling. Peace.